Another cool deck from Limitless 3, it's Luxray. Welcome back everyone to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch and today we're going to be taking a look at Luxray, kind of like a Luxio Luxray lock deck I guess you could call it, which was quite successful in Limitless 3. This was our second most popular deck on the Twitter poll that we put up the other day, asking you which decks we wanted to take a look at. There'll be another one of those polls there right now, so if you head to twitter.com/thesableyes_YT, you can vote for what decks you'd like to see on the channel next. But in the meantime, we'll take a look at this cool deck. It's pretty strong. I actually really like it. Let's take a look at the list. So we are going to be utilizing the new Luxray from Rebel Clash in this deck. It's got two relatively good attacks that we can use in combination with Luxio in order to set up a board state where our opponent can't realistically do much and we can take some big knockouts. Now, the main attack that we're going to try and use with Luxray is Raid. For 1 lightning energy, it does 60 damage, plus 100 if we evolved from Luxio into Luxray that turn. So, effectively 160 base damage if we evolve that turn. With Electro Power, this can increase quite substantially, so it's very easy to get a big knockout with this Pokemon. And the best thing is, in combination with the new Scoop Up Net, it's actually really easy to cycle Luxray and Luxio in order to try and get that attack off every single turn. It's like Grand Ball doing 160 off of a 1 prize attacker, except instead of having to have a 0 card hand, you just need to have had a Scoop Up Net to get yourself a brand new Luxray. So that's pretty strong. Headbolt is an acceptable attack in a pinch as well. With a lightning energy and a colorless, we just do a flat 120, and when we've got Thunder Mountain in play, it's just 1 energy attachment. So if we need to, we can just use that attack for a base 120 damage, which, when we think about it, combined with an Electro Power or 2, is going to be half hitting most things anyway in combination with Raid. So we're relatively happy to do it if we get stuck in that situation. It's not bad at all. Luxio is the next card we're going to take a look at. It's obviously important because we need to involve Luxios into Luxray for that first attack, but the best thing about this deck is that the Stage 1 is going to be super helpful to set up knockouts for the Stage 2. Disconnect on this Pokemon for 1 colorless energy does 30 damage, and your opponent can't play item cards next turn. That is so big, especially considering the 2 4-ofs that almost every deck is playing right now. Quick Ball and Scoop Up Net are both item cards, so we can stop our opponent from playing those, we can stop them from setting up Pokemon, we can stop them from scooping up things to get their supporters back with Mewtwo or extra damage counters with Zigzagoon, things like that. Luxio is very strong, and if we can even gust something out and stop the switch from happening, because switch is an item card. All of those kind of cards are really, really good to be able to stop your opponent. Now, 30 doesn't seem like a lot of damage, but again, you can combine this with Electro Power to potentially put out a little bit more pressure. You're probably not too worried about, though. This is about stalling for a little bit whilst you set up your knockouts. Now, it's really interesting as well because all 3 of these cards in this line are actually worth mentioning. We have the Shinx here with Evolutionary Advantage, and this is super, super good because it means if you go second, that you can evolve this Shinx on turn 1 to get Luxio into play. That means if you are going second, you start with Shinx in the active, you can be attacking with Luxio turn 1 for 30 damage and item locking your opponent. So not only are you accelerating your win condition because you're getting closer to that Luxray, but you're also giving yourself the chance to stop your opponent from using item cards. Very, very good. Static Shock for 10, not great, but it's acceptable if you need 10 damage every now and then, I guess. 2 Electro Powers goes to 70, it'll come up, I'm sure. The rest of the list is obviously built around trying to support that. We've got Oranguru, Dedenne, and Jirachi in high counts. We've also got Phione in the list as well. Phione's super, super good because it's a free gust that we can bring up something that our opponent doesn't want us to have in the active and start item locking them. The rest of the list is relatively self-explanatory. There's not a huge amount in this that needs to be talked through, but I will make mention of a couple of things. We've got 3 Big Charm in the list. This is a card that hasn't seen a huge amount of play in this many copies. 3 is a lot. And I kind of was thinking, why are we playing 3 Big Charm? Well, if we have a look over here at Luxray, it has 160 HP. If we put a Big Charm on that, it goes to 190, and that's suddenly not getting knocked out by ADP. So that's a massive deal. It's going to force our opponent to attack twice into a 1-prize attacker. And if we have Scoop Up Net, we can just put them all back in our hand. It's effectively like our opponent has done nothing. We'll lose the Big Charm, of course, but that's okay by me. I think that combination is really, really cool, and the fact that it comes up pretty regularly is very solid. Now, we've also got 2 copies down here of Capture Energy. This card is excellent to be able to set up our bench. We need as many Luxio in play as possible, which means we need to find those Shinx, so we've got to get them out somehow. If we're not doing it with Quick Ball or Pokémon, which we've got max counts of, then we can at least attach one to a Luxio. We can still disconnect because it's got a colorless attack cost, and we'll be able to find another basic Pokemon. But yeah, apart from that, the list is really solid. I really like it. It's got a lot of potential, and it's always good to see these kind of decks perform well against some of the big decks in format. What we'll do is we'll jump on the ladder and we'll see if we can get the item lock off, and even if we can get one of those raids for a large knockout. Hopefully, we can take knockouts on things like ADPs or Dragapults. We'll see how it goes. We'll check it out right now. Hopefully we can get that lock up early. If we go first, we're fine because we've got an extra turn. If we go second, we're fine. We can start locking things early. And look at this. This is a crazy hand. We've got all of the Pokemon in the world. More importantly, we've got a Shinx. So what we'll do is we'll chuck the Jirachi in the active here. We don't really want to show off to our opponent what we're playing. They're playing ADP, so this could be an interesting one. If we get that Shinx evolving into a Luxio this turn and we can get an attack off, we could realistically lock up our opponent for a bit, stop them from being able to do pretty much anything. Especially if our opponent doesn't know what we're playing, they're unlikely to be kind of expecting to have to play their items now. And yeah, they've just gone for the Intrepid Sword, so we're actually in a really strong spot. We've got the Shinx, we've got the Oranguru, we've even got the Scoop Up Net so we can move into the active. We'll play the Shinx down, we'll chuck this Phione down and the Oranguru. I think we're going to turn that Luxray into into something else, but for the moment what we'll do is we'll just Oranguru and can Pokémon away the Luxray. Question is, do we go for Luxio? I think we do. I'm kind of being a bit greedy here. We've got the Scoop Up and the Switch now, so we can Stellar Wish, and if we don't find a supporter, then we didn't find a supporter, so we could potentially go back into it. Although Quick Ball here, we'll be able to find a Dedenne if we choose to. We will let's just chuck up the Luxio just in case. Because I think what we could do is we could just Dedenne this hand away. That's Quick Ball. We'll get rid of the Switch and we'll see if it's there. It is. Dedenne is there. So we can play that one down. We might play down the Jirachi just in case. We can always Phione. And then, yeah, we'll Dedenne. Hopefully we get an energy. And we've got a couple of speed energy here, which is very good. We can draw 2 more cards. We've got a Shinx. Excellent. We've got an Escape Board. Everything is looking up for us here. I don't even think we need to support her, actually. So we can just, like, research and get a fresh new hand. Like, it's not a big deal for us. Disappointed that we lost the Luxray and we didn't find another Luxio, but that's okay. I think we're pretty much set here. We can just disconnect it. Oh, what I should have done is I should have used the Phione. Okay, so we've disconnected for 30 damage. Great, they can't use items. But if we had to use Phione, I could have brought up the Zacian and then disconnected and stopped him from using this Viridian Forest to find energy. Oh no. Okay, so that's a bit of a misplay on us. Now we're on a bit of a clock because Altered Creation is going to go off. Disappointing. We'll Phione now. Because then at least we can slow our opponent down. Because they can't attach more energy in a turn if we disconnect. So we'll do that. We will probably play down a Shinx. We might just attach one of these energies down here. I don't think we want a Luxray. We might just Marnie and try and stop our opponent from doing anything. Realistically, that's such a massive misplay, though. We've got a couple of Electro Power here. I don't know whether we realistically need to use them. I think we just want to stop our opponent from using their items. Although, we've got a Luxray. Yeah, no, let's just disconnect. Because now, next turn, we've got the Luxray 160. 190 is going to be a knockout with a single Electro Power, and we're almost guaranteed to be able to get it because there's going to be no way that our opponent can retreat this Zacian. So I'm okay with this. The key for us now, though, is that we're going to need to find ourselves another Luxio, because if we turn our active into a Luxray, it will be a little bit awkward. But yeah, our opponent's got almost nothing to do now. They can attach a metal, which is fine. They're going to discard one with Viridian Forest, which is fair enough, and they'll grab another. They're setting themselves up. Look at this. They've actually got the extra energy on the ADP here. So, and then they're just going for the Zacian. Okay, the Intrepid Sword. So they're expecting to get knocked out here. It's interesting because now we can just kind of set them up to kind of be locked out. We'll Pokecom, grab ourselves a Luxio, and we'll evolve the Shinx on the bench with that Luxio. And I think maybe, yeah, we go for that knockout now. We'll move the Capture Energy to the top of the deck and see what we... Another Electro Power, okay. Okay, well, we don't need 3 of them, but we definitely want to use them later. We will use 1 Electro Power now, and then Raid will take the knockout. So that's pretty solid. We've got 2 prizes here. I'm happy with that. We've got a Big Charm, and we've got ourselves another Electro Power. Okay. I'm just thinking how much. We've done 250 damage. We go 160, 190, 220, 250. Okay, so we can potentially knock out this ADP next turn if we get a little bit lucky. We need a, we just need a Luxray, really. That's all we need is 1 Luxray, and we can actually take the knockout on the ADP next turn. So it turns out that that extra damage has actually worked out quite well for us. So yeah, I'm happy with that. That seems fine. It turns out it wasn't a misplay. We shouldn't have used Phione early. They're going to use Whirlpool Suction here, and we're going to have to chuck away a Shinx, I think. I wonder why they chose to do that. I guess they're just not interested in taking the knockout on the Luxray, which is weird, because this now gives us another out to win. Before we would have needed to found a fresh Luxray, but now we can just get ourselves a Scoop Up Net. And since there's no Pokemon on the bench, we actually just win the game if we do find that Scoop Up Net. So we'll just chuck down some cards here. We'll put the Big Charm on the Luxio, and we'll Viridian Forest away this Capture Energy to find another Lightning. We can then Stellar Wish, and there's a Scoop Up Net. So I think we just win this game. I think that's it. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna grab this Scoop Up Net. We're gonna be able. I'm just gonna recheck the maths. We're gonna do what 160 plus 30 is 190 plus 2, so it's 220, 250. So it's gonna work out for us. We've got the Luxray. We can retreat into it. And yeah, we've just managed to win. It's as simple as that. That's all you need to do. How powerful is Luxray? We managed to take 2 knockouts, both one-shots realistically. And yeah, we've beaten the best deck in the format with Luxray. How do you figure? So a little bit of luck there. We don't get punished for missing the Phione early. But yeah, we just took 5 prizes in 2 turns. We locked down our opponent from using items for a bit, and we won the game. Luxray and Luxio together are an excellent combination. And I would definitely recommend trying this one out on the ladder. It's great. It's great for multiple things. I was actually doing some electric level up and like evolution and damage challenges as well, because it's perfect for that too. So if you're trying to increase your level, if that's something that people try and do on PTCGO, then you can definitely do it with this one. Plus, you're going to win games because people just don't know how to play against it, so they don't prepare themselves for the type of damage that Luxray can do. So I would definitely recommend it. Thank you to all those people that voted for Luxray on our Twitter poll. It didn't win, but it definitely came close. So we've chucked it up for you now. If you haven't already, then follow us on Facebook and Twitter. There'll be a new poll there, 4 decks to choose from. The one that gets the most votes will be our next video, so I look forward to finding out what that one will be. And apart from that, we hope that you've enjoyed watching us here on the Sableyes. If you do, then subscribe by clicking the button that's just about here, over on this side of the screen. There are a couple of videos that YouTube thinks you'll like, as well as a playlist down the bottom right of all of our Rebel Clash content. Check that one out, as well as obviously Facebook and Twitter and all those kind of things. And yeah, we'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.